structured. If you see, there is a Form 16, and there are some documents like rental agreement documents. So to process the documents which are not in a correct format, and to deliver the output, the UiPath excels the document handling part and the strong orchestration it has. So whatever process you build, you can monitor from UiPath Orchestrator. Uh, you can manage the permissions, everything. You have absolutely super orchestrator, and it has currently we have AI agents as well. It can support multiple models with very ease. We can build an agent to work on anything. So there are many things where UiPath has brought up. We have a Mastro as well, which is currently in the trend, which is used to build a business purpose, like a complex business scenario, and we can integrate every component which UiPath has in the one platform. So we have many advantages with the UiPath platform. Then we'll see what it contains. So it contains Studio, Orchestrator, and the Robot. So Studio is where you build the automations. So you have to code it and you will build it. Next, after once the building is done, you will be deploying it to Orchestrator. Orchestrator is nothing but a managing tool and the monitoring for the robots. It is like uh, it can control, manage, and it can do everything with the packages. We can control the user permissions. We can schedule the runs. We can do everything using the orchestrator. We can store the files. It can be used by the bot, and we can schedule the bots when it has to run, when it has to be stopped, and we can manage the access roles, permissions, and we can send alerts. These are all things we can do with the orchestrator. Next is the robot. So once the package is published to the orchestrator, we have a robot assistant where we can execute our robots using that. So this three is very combined with this UiPath platform. So if you see the image, this is the UiPath Studio. We'll see in some moment. We'll develop a use case as well. This is the platform where we can build the automations. This is the UiPath Studio. And if you see the screenshot, this is the orchestrator. Sorry. This is the orchestrator. So it is like a heart of the automation. And as I said, we can we can track the failures, we can measure the output, we can get the reports. And if you see, there is a different Tableau forms where we can perform anything using the orchestrator. Then we have the robots. So before proceeding with the robots, I'll show. Okay, let's discuss about what are the kind of automations we have. So we have one attended workflow, unattended workflow, and the hybrid workflow. So attended workflow is nothing but if you once the project is developed, once it is deployed to the orchestrator, this the attended workflows, what it is do, we have to manually trigger them. So for example, take there is a use case where there is some particular scenario. Daily at 3 o'clock, I have to monitor one email. Once that email hits my inbox, I have to reply back to my management that we received this email. So this is a constant task which has to be performed daily. So what I have done, as it is a daily task, I have built a bot, I have deployed it. So there are two types of scenarios. One is attended. So you go to the assistant, you manually trigger the bot to run. So that is where that is called an attended automation. So whenever the human intervention is needed, it is called an attended automation. And coming to the unattended. So I don't want that process to be done. Like I have to daily go to the assistant, I have to click on the run, then the process runs, then I have to do that. So I want to eliminate the task of clicking, opening assistance, enabling the robot. So what I've done, I have shifted to the unattended. Unattended is nothing but you will schedule it schedule a time in the orchestrator, and you have a machine allocated separate to it, which is an unattended machine, which runs purely in the background. You have nothing to do it. You will schedule a time like for daily 3 o'clock. You have scheduled it in the orchestrator. So at 3 o'clock, it will run automatically without any human interaction. That is the unattended thing. And coming to the hybrid, this is a combination of attended and attended. So we have, suppose we have a very large use case where we have two models, two bots. First bot output is given to the input as a second bot. So what we can do, first bot is an attended and second bot is unattended. So basically it is a combination of attended and unattended. The type of workflow you can choose based on the business scenario. These are the type of workflows we have in the UiPath. So coming to the summary, as I said, in the studio, we'll build the process. Then it will be packaged as a nugget package. It will be deployed to the orchestrator. Once it is deployed to the orchestrator, we'll be able to see it in the assistant. As three are interlinked, we can able to see the process in the assistant. So we can run there. This is the total overall summary of how studio, orchestrator, and assistant works. So I'll quickly show the studio overview. This is a UiPath Studio. Here we have different panels. Before moving ahead, are you comfortable with my pace, or should I go slow or fast? Hello.
Hello, ma'am. 1 second.
Yes. Yes.
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. So in the UiPath, we have different workflows. Okay.
Please
so
continue.
first, this is This is a home tab where you can see different settings. There are different types of templates we have. We have a linear process, flow chart, and the state machine, and the RE framework. So if you see, these are all the templates we have currently in the UiPath Studio. And here we have tools where we can enable the settings, and there will be a settings where you can manage your studio view, how you want it to be done. And coming back to the design thing, yeah. So this is currently I've selected the RE framework. I hope you are all aware about the flows, type of flows. We have a linear workflow, flow chart, state machine, and the RE framework. So I'll give a quick one-liner about each and every flow. So if you see here, these are all the type of flows we have. So mainly there are three type of workflows we'll deal with. We'll deal with the sequence, flowchart, and the RE framework. So the linear process, there will be a one process, like go to the mailbox, open the mailbox, monitor that email, and then reply back to the email. This is a very linear process. For this process, we can directly go with the linear flow. There are no conditions, nothing there. You have to just code it. So you just drag and drop, and this is the linear flow. Basically, there is no exception handling. There is no structured format. You have to build it. This is a linear flow. When there are no conditions, no exceptions, or no business rules, you can opt for the linear flow. And you have a flowchart as well. This is nothing but when there is a conditions, like when you have two paths, if this exception occurs, we have to choose with this path. If exception doesn't occur, so we have to choose with this path. So if you have different paths, you can go with the flowchart. Coming to the RE framework is a template basically where it is very structured and it is very accumulated with business rule exception, system exception, and the try catch errors. So this is a standard template where all the business people use to build the automations because it has retry logics, it has handling of system exception, it has handling of the business exceptions. So we'll see what are exceptions in the further slides. For the time being, this is the RE framework template. This is the initialization phase where you will initialize the applications. So if you see, this is a sample RPA challenge use case where I have built it in the RE framework. So if you see, we have the unit of settings, we have the read range workbook. So before moving ahead, what I'll do, I'll show you the RPA challenge. So this is a page where bot has to type the first name, last name, depending on the Excel we have. And if once you click on the submit, you can see the names and the positions are all changing. So if you see that position, everything is changing. For these kind of things, we have to build an automation with correct selectors. So let's see. So in the initialization phase, this is a state where you have to initialize your inputs. You have to initialize your browsers. So for example, first, what are the steps we have to do if we manually go to the RPA challenge? First, we'll go to the RPA challenge website. And from that Excel, we'll take the first name, last name, email, and we'll manually fill everything, and then we'll click on the submit. Then we'll take the second row, and then we'll fill it, and then we'll submit it. Likewise, how many rows we have in the Excel, we'll update this web page, and then we'll submit it. So this is the manual task we do actually without RPA. So now we have to build this entire use case in the RPA using RE framework. So as I said, in the initialization, we have to initialize the files and the applications. So here I have initialized the workbook. Instead of downloading it, I have already downloaded it and placed it. And if you see, this is an application. I have, this is a login part. So generally login part will be in the initialization phase. So this is the login part I have used. Then coming to the get transaction data. So if this phase is successful, it will go to the get transaction state. If it encounters with a system exception, it will directly end the process. If assume it is a successful, then this will be get transaction data. For linear process, we doesn't require get transaction data. If suppose there is a very big scenario, as we have a scenario where we have to read the data from the Excel and fill the website. So what we can do, we have to read the Excel, we'll upload it to the queue, and then using that is a dispatcher process. So we'll divide the process into two types, the dispatcher and the performer. So dispatcher, what it does, it will read the Excel, it will update it to the queue. Then it comes with the performer. The performer bot, what it will do, it will initialize the RPA challenge, what I have shown, and it will read the transaction. It will read the Excel from the queue itself using the get transaction data. This is the workflow. This is the get transaction data. In this, we'll get the Excel row. Then once it is done, this is the process transaction. So this is the place where we have to actually build the logic. Yes, Tejasvi, anything doubt? Hello? Hello?
Hello. Ma'am, everything is
Yes, Tejasvi.
no, ma'am. Everything is cleared, ma'am.
Okay. So the process transaction is the place where you have to build your actual logic. So if you see, we have the process workflow. Once I open it, so this is the place where you have to build your logic by like you have to place the typing tools and everything to update this website. And you don't have to explicitly write the exception handling logic because RE framework has already it already has it. So if you see, if the process is failed with the exception, so if this failed with the exception, if you see, it is a business exception, and it will set the transaction as business exception. If it is a system exception, it will retry it, and it will retry for the particular times. So this is the template we have, RE framework template in general. So what we'll do, so- So as I said, this is the orchestrator, which is linked to the studio and the assistant. So here we have studio agents and master orchestrator. We have two types of studio. We have a web and the desktop. Both has a similar interfaces. So we'll see the orchestrator. So as I said, this is the orchestrator. We have tenants, different tenants in the enterprise version. So generally, what we'll have different environments. We'll have development and the testing and the production. So there will be isolation of every tenant, and then here, if you see, there is a monitoring thing. Here you can see how many robots are successful, and you can see machines which are what are all the available machines you have and the robots you have. You can see the folder structures, and you can access your like you can manage your access in this section. You can assign the roles to the particular user, like whether he needs administrator access or he needs a developer access. You can manage it using the manage access. And here is the machines. So for unattended bots and attended bots, you have to define a machine using a machine template. So here, if you see, you can add a machine template or you can add a serverless robot. Once it is done only, you will be able to run the process. This is the machines. And the solutions, the deployed packages, we will be able to see in the solutions. And the packages, this is for the agents and this is for the packages. So you have built a RPA challenge workflow. Now you have published it. You can view your package here. This is the place where you can view your package. And this is the credential part where you can store the credentials instead of hard coding it. Webhooks is nothing but when you want to connect your orchestrator and you to the external system using API, you can connect to the webhooks. And this is a license and this is settings. Okay, these are the personalized folders where you can place your process and run from it. So these are the process I have currently. And if you see the my packages, you can view your packages according to your folder. So you can manage your folder access also using the manage access. You can allot the users who can access the folder and who shouldn't edit the folders. These are all the things you can do it. If you see, this is a storage bucket. So this is the place where you can upload your files actually. So I've created one storage bucket. This is the and it contains files. So you can, instead of getting it from the local, you can store your files in the storage bucket. These are all the main things. And if you see the queues, queues is nothing but a list of transaction items. If you see the Excel here, we have 10 rows. So instead of giving it from the desktop, here we have a 10 rows. This is a very small row. For business purpose enterprise version, we have rows which are more than 1,000. So dealing the large, huge Excels from the desktop and integrating is a very big task to handle the exceptions as well. So instead, what we can do, we can separate as it two models, dispatcher and performer. What dispatcher bot will do, it will read all the Excel rows and it will upload. We can add a queue here. It will upload the rows in the queue. So then performer bot, what it will do, it will take the row from the queue itself and then process it. We can see the transaction, whether it is a successful or a failure or whether it is a business exception. This is a major advantage of queues for dealing with the large amount of data. And we have an assets. Instead of hard coding as a best practice, we can place whatever the as I said, the file names or file paths, we can place it in the config file, or if it is frequently changing, we can keep it in the assets so that once we can go and edit it, the bot will run. So this is the major high level intro of UiPath Orchestrator. And coming to the assistant, so it's loading. Yeah. So whatever the bots you deployed will be available in the assistant. You can manage, you can run from here. If you download it, you can run from here as well, so that the bot will be triggered. So these are all the automation suite we have of the assistant orchestrator and the studio. So in the studio, if you see, there are different panels. We have a debug panel, we have the automations, we have recorders, and we have the upload button. So if you see, so this is the design thing where you can save, undo, or everything we can do with the design panel. If you see the debug, once the automation is built, if you want to debug the file, if you want to check where the errors are available, you can do it using the debug file. Run file is nothing but if you want to run entire thing, if you want to run a particular file, you can select run file. If you click on the run, the entire automation will be run. So there will be different debug options. We can put a breakpoint where you can see this is if you have a feeling like this is the place where my automation can break. So at that point you can toggle a breakpoint, and once you debug it, you can view the what are the output is giving, what is the input it is taking. So that small minor things also you can monitor using the debug panel. And if you see the publish, so once you click on the publish, you have to give the package name, and once you click on the next, you'll have it will ask for the tenant feed or the personal workspace feed. Tenant is nothing but the main thing. Once it is deployed, you can link it to the folder. Personal workspace is nothing but the personal workspace folder. It will be directly deployed to the personal workspace. Custom means you can select the folders where you want to get it deployed. So this is the publishing thing of a project. So me open the PPT. So as I have said, we have different panels, activity panel and properties panel, output panels also. We have a different type of workflows, sequence, flowchart, and the state machine. The state machine is nothing but which is built on the RE framework template. Like on the state machine only, the RE framework template is built. So if you see, this is the design tab. Here we have different things. We have activities and we have properties. We have data manager. We have test explorer. Everything. If you open the studio, you can able to understand what are all the things. You can view it. So here, if you see, we have a ribbon tab, we have a title bar, and then we have a variables panel where this is a variables panel where you can declare the variables. You have an arguments panel where you can declare the arguments. So I think you know the difference between variables and arguments. If you want to use the variables in that particular workflow, if you want to use a particular value in that particular workflow, you can go with the variables. There you can set the scope. Argument is nothing but this is used to switch the values between the workflows. So this will be in, out, and in and out. And you have the outline panel. We have output where you can see the output, and the error list also. You can have the error list. Activities panel where you'll have different activities. Okay. And the type of workflows we have discussed just now. This is a sequence. This is a flowchart where you have if there is a complex business scenario where you need to connect multiple activities depending on the decision, you can choose with the flowchart. The state machine is nothing but if you want the transaction wise execution, you can go with the state machine. So as I said in the RE framework, this is a fixed thing. If this state is successful, it will jump to the next state. If this state is failure, it will then again jump to this next state. So here the reusability of the code also will be there in the thing. So this is a state machine. So I hope Tejasvi, everyone has an basic idea of how to build a big, small UiPath automation, right? Or shall I
Yes,
show
ma'am.
it? Okay.
Ma'am, it would be better if you show a small automation.
Okay. Okay. 1 minute. Let me reshare it again. Give me a moment. I'll reshare it again. Let me share my screen. So let me take a new file.
Okay, ma'am.
So I'll take a blank process. It is taking a bit time. So in the meanwhile, we'll proceed with the slides. And once it is done, we'll come back to building the studio project.
Ma'am, hello, ma'am.
Yes, Tejasvi.
Ma'am, there are a few doubts, ma'am. I'm going to clarify.
Okay. Okay. Okay, Tejasvi.
Ma'am, till meantime, I will explain them what are the automations and all.
Okay.
After building the bot, please. Hello, ma'am. After building the bot, please inform, ma'am.
After building the bot?
Please inform, ma'am. Till that time, I will solve the doubt.
Okay, okay. Hello everyone. We'll see what this workflow sample workflow is. So if you see here, I have the use cases we have. It has to retrieve the mails from the Outlook. So here I have used to get Outlook mail messages. If you see, these are all the properties. So if you click on the activity, this is a properties pane. Here you have to mention the input mail folder, and here is the retrieve message output variable where the messages will be stored. Tejasvi, I'm going ahead.
Okay, ma'am.
So this is a sample thing. This is nothing but it will retrieve the mails from this folder and it will store it in the retrieve mails. So then once the mails are received, we have to loop it, because if we receive 100 mails, the We have to go through each and every mail to read what the content is there. So for that, we have built a for each row, for each retrieved mails. So for every mail, we'll store the body here, and we'll log it. This is the and here we'll use one. This is the agent. Okay. I think I have opened the agent integration thing. One moment. So what we'll do, we'll build yeah, here also we have an autopilot where using the prompt you can build your workflow. For the time constraint, let me build it using the autopilot. Build a workflow where it has to take input from user and display the time. So here just you have to give a prompt and then it will build your workflow. So if you see, these are all the logs we have. As you're all, as you know, that we have ChatGPT, Perplexity, everything. For this Webpath Studio, we have an autopilot. This will help you build your automations, which will reduce your time. Yeah. So if you see, what kind of dependency is there? So here you can select the multiple choice as well. Once the user has entered his name, you can store it in the variable called. So I have declared it, and then you can print it. So once it is done, you can run it. I think there is an issue with my studio. So here you have to enter your name. and it will be displayed. So this is a very simple thing I have built. Using we have a different activities as well. Using that, you can explore more. Once you go to the academy, you have different activities to work on the data tables, to work on the Outlook, and to work on the UI automation. You can go and as you have an RPA challenge, you can go with the UI automation activities. You can drag and drop the use browser and indicate it. So these things you can do. I'll give it to you, explore this part, and let us continue with the PPT. So as I said, we have an exception handling as well. So we have types of exceptions. We have system exception, business exception, and custom exceptions. So this is a scenario where you have to go to the Outlook and you have to get the mail and you have to process further. So this is a standard process. But what if it hits with any errors? So there might be known errors, there might be unknown errors. If if you have an idea that this is a known error, you can handle it with the exception handling, and you can run it without interrupting the automation flow. So there are two types of majorly the business exception. So if the business logic is incorrect, like if there will be standard rules, it has to go to this path, it has to retrieve it, and it has to update the records. So what if the path has changed? So that is that comes to the business logic exceptions. You can handle it using the try catch, and when the automation runs, it won't break. And there is a system exception where if the file is not available and there is a timeout errors, if the application is not loading. So those are all the system exceptions. For these system exceptions in the RE framework, it will be retried for 2 times, and then will end it. So these type of exception you have to handle it before publishing to the orchestrator. So there will be a custom exception where you can manually create an exception type so that you can identify. So okay, this is the type of exception I have received. So as I said, there are different type of handling things. We have a try catch, and there is a throw, rethrow, and finally. So using try catch, you have to place your activity inside the try catch block, and then it will handle those exception, and it won't interrupt the automation flow. The throw activity is used when the workflow is when the workflow hit with an error. If you place a throw activity, you can throw the exception so that you can throw the business exception so that in the logs you can see. So this type of exception I have saved. And finally activity as well, where irrespective of the errors, this block will execute. So for the best practices things, when you build your enterprise automations, you have to see with we have to log the exception things. You have to notify the stakeholders. You have to keep the retry logics. You have to mention the custom exceptions as well before publishing it to the orchestrator. And these are the advanced exception handling techniques. Once you have done with the try catch and everything, this is the thing where you have to build your automation, check whether this is applicable or not. So retry scope. So if there might be a scenario where your browser, where you want to log into some Flipkart website, for the first time you are unable to log in it. So you will retry it. You will retry for the third time. So as a human, you know how many times to log in when it shows error. So similarly for the robot also, you have to mention. So if the third time, that thing you can do with the retry scope. And the global exception handler is nothing but this is the exception handling for your entire project, irrespective of the try catch. And the invoke workflow and catch errors. So when you're dealing with the large complex automations, you will break your automations into different workflows and then combine it together. So you have to handle the errors with respect to each and every workflow to go with the happy path. And the RE framework, we have seen what is RE framework, architecture, and the features we have seen it. And as I said, we have a dispatcher performer model. When you are dealing with the very complex process of automation, you can divide your process into dispatcher and the performer. So the dispatcher is nothing but it will collect the data, it will update the queue. Once the queue is updated, then the performer bot will be triggered. It will read the data from the queue and then process it. So you are basically dividing the process into two types, dispatcher and the performer, so that you can handle the large data and the complex data, and you can easily handle the exceptions as well. Next, till now we have seen what is RPA, what is UiPath, how the studio interface looks like, and orchestrator, what are its uses, and everything we have seen about the UiPath. Now we'll see what is agentic. So this is the latest current trend in the market, where every platform has introduced. So coming to the UiPath agentic, what it makes special irrespective of the robots. As I said, robots, it is a very rule based. It will act depend on your path. Like you set the path, and it will work as per the path. And the decisions also, you will determine whatever the decisions it has to make, and it will do like that. So basically, whatever you feed, it will do. It won't cross other than that. So this is for the routine task, and for the high reliability and efficiency. What if there is a scenario where you want it to be think on its own, it has to take the decisions, and then the workflow has to be executed. So this is place where the agents come into the picture. So agent is nothing but a model which work on the goal based, and it can act independently, and it can make decisions dynamically. So agents are the models which we will be building. So there you won't determine the path, you'll just mention this is my goal, so that the agent will do whatever things it has to do, and then it will reach the goal. This is for best for the ad hoc task, and it has to be required with the high adaptability. So what then coming to the agentic automation. So agentic automation is nothing but the combination of this automation, agents, and the orchestration. The entire thing, if we combine it, we call it as an agentic automation. The agents I have said, it has a skills. We have to enable them. It can communicate in the natural language. We can plan. We can mention the steps. We can give the prompts, and we can verify the outcomes as well. So agentic orchestration is nothing but the once the agent is built and published, we have an orchestration called the agentic orchestration in the UiPath orchestrator, where you can monitor the agents. So as I said, RPA versus agent. Coming to the first one, decision making criteria. The workflow doesn't take any decisions. The agent can make the decisions depending on your prompts. And the structured data processing, for processing structured data, you can go with the workflow. Agent is not suitable for that, because the agents are very costly. You can, if there is a very standardized approach, you can opt for the workflow, and it can give better results. And if you have multi-step automation like UI interactions and API calls, then we have to go with the workflow. And if there is any unstructured data handling, you have to go with the agent. So these are all the things you have to check before going to the agent and the workflow. So as I said, this is a full brain. Consider it as a full brain. Left brain is a robotic, and right brain is an agentic. So these two combined, we have like for any building any complex solutions like that, we have to bring these two things together to build the things like agentic automation. And if you want the automation to be very creative, and the decision making, and it has to adapt to the situations, then you have to definitely introduce the agent to the robot. Am I audible? Tejasvi, can you confirm? Okay. Then how agents work? So consider if there is a new member joins in a team, we'll just instead of giving everything at once, we'll just train them first, and then we'll allocate the laptop, and then we'll give. So whatever once the user once the employee receives the laptop, he has to go through some lot of trainings, and he has to refer the files, and then if he finds any support, if he needs any support, then he'll reach out to the particular support team related to the process. Similar kind of structure we have with the agent. So here we have a system prompt and the user prompt, which are used to train the agent, and the tool is nothing but where the agent require a particular tool, we can go integrating with the tools, and then the context, if it has to refer some policies, it has to give the output based on the company document, like that it can refer the context, and then if it requires human review, it will go with the escalation thing. Then what are the components of an agent? As I said, we have a system prompt and the user prompt, where you can instruct the agent what it has to do. System prompt is nothing but you are instructing the agent what to do, and the user prompt is the input, what kind of input you want, and the context is nothing but the agent can hallucinate, and it can give the output related to other. Suppose if I want output related to my organization only. Like Metro, we have Accenture, Infosys, and we have Capgemini. So I want agent to give with respect to Metro itself. So I have to feed the agent with the context of the Metro files, so that it can give answers related to the Metro only. So that is where the context comes into the picture. You can provide your files, you can provide your Excels and everything. You can provide your documents to the agent. Then we have a tools where if you want to integrate an RPA workflow, if you want to integrate with the external things systems using APIs, you can integrate with the tools. And we have an escalation where you want the human to take action before the agent proceeds, agent gives output. This is the components of an agent. So quickly, I'll show how agent builder looks, and I'll run the bot so that you can understand. So as I said, this is an agent builder. So previously we have seen the workflow. This is an agent where you can from here you can go to that path. If you click on the agents, you will land here. Okay, so let it load. So this is an agent builder. Here you can see the data manager where you can define your variables. And this is a data manager where you can define your variables. This is a project structure. And this is a version control and issues panel, like that. So if you see, this is a system prompt. This is the prompt which you have to give to the LLM, basically. So here I've said I have built a very small use case where this is a vendor management assistant. So it has to go through the I have provided two documents, the policy document and the Excel, where it has to go through that, and it has to give answers to the user where they will ask for the vendor's when the vendor's contract will be expired, whether the particular vendor is approved or rejected, what are the policies, and if you like a chatbot kind of thing, using the policy which I have provided. So this is the prompt I have given and the user prompt. So answer the question. This is the user prompt and the user question I have kept in the variable. So if you see, this is a tool. If you want, these are the kind of tools you can integrate to your workflow. So you can integrate the activity agent, RPA workflow to the your agent. So context, as I said, I have given the vendor policy and the vendor Excel. This I have stored it in the storage bucket. I have shown you previously. This is a storage bucket. From here, I am accessing the files, like I'm giving the agent. So here I haven't added any escalation. If you want, you can add an escalation. You can create an app, and so that it will route to the human for the verification. So this is the normal agent builder. So what I'll do, I'll run it. So this is the output panel. Here you have to give your user query. So this is a query I have: vendors XYZ solutions contact expire. So this is a question. Before moving ahead, I'll show you what are all the documents I have fed. So this is a document. So in this document, we have everything like requirements, purchase order rules, contact management, status, approval status, everything we have. So if the user asks the questions, the agent has to refer this document and then it has to reply according to that. So this is I have given. I'll save and debug. So it is done. We'll see the output. If you see, this is the LLM call it is doing, and this is the output. So XYZ contracts expires on 15th October. This is the output it has generated, depending on the policies and the query we have given. So this is how the agent builder works. So I have given a quick overview. You can publish it to your orchestrator and integrate in your RPA workflow to use this model. This is a quick agent introduction where you have a system prompt, user prompt, and the and you can do whatever you want with the LLM. So you can try it out. You can experiment on the LLMs, as we have a community version available for the agent and the master with the latest release. You can test it. So this is the core principle. So agents are the components of the workflow. So many things that this is a replacement of an automation. No, this goes hand in hand. So this is a component of the workflow where you can integrate. You have a situation where we have to take a dynamic decision. That time you can integrate your AI to the automation. Likewise, it has to be very light. We shouldn't give more responsibilities because it has a chance of hallucinating. So to reduce, it will reduce the accuracy as well. So likewise, this is what the agentic automation and the RPA is. I hope you got a clear idea on how this works. What is a UiPath, RPA, orchestrator, and the studio and the agent.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Now Niklesh will be taking the stage. Thank you, everyone. So if any questions are there, kindly reach out to Tejasvi. Tejasvi, let me know if there is any complex questions available. I can feel free to answer those. Yeah.
Everything is
So
good.
Niklesh will take the stage now.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes,
Hello.
sir.
Okay. Hi everyone. Yeah, thank you. Thank you first of all, Bhavani, for the wonderful session on the RPA and introduction of RPA and other things on agentic. Yes, this is a intro session we plan for the quite set of things. So yeah, right now we will see what is the UI path, what is UI path. So what is UI path, what is UI path community, and how we need to do the certifications and all that we will cover. I will take not much of your time. I will just take 10 minutes of your time and some time to you to practice on the session. Okay, practice on the session. So what I will do here. So basically, UiPath has why we are learning UiPath, right? So basically, because we have Bhavani already said about tools. Bhavani already said about the RPA and all, but why UiPath is because UiPath is absolutely free. You can get your training free. You can get your certification free. You can download the what I say. Yesterday, I think Tejasvi posted how to download and install about the UiPath, right? So likewise, UI that is the reason UiPath is the main advantage for student, main advantage for audience and everybody, developers or everybody. Okay. So that's about the UI path. So let me share my screen. Let me know once I am able to, if you are able to see my screen. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So basically myself, Nikhilesh Satyavarapu. So I am a manager at Amgen and I'm having almost 12 years of experience. I've been awarded as multiple global awards. I'm a certified business analyst, certified solution architect, certified RPA developer, and I'm a YouTuber. I'm a content creator, and I'm a LinkedIn top voices. I got many awards in LinkedIn, many awards on YouTube as well. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. So this is my about me. And so what is UiPath? community, and that's what we're sharing, right? So UiPath community is the largest community in the globe, where we have students, we have professionals, we have developers, we have everybody, where we are part of the community journey. Everything is free. We just need to join, and you need to learn online sessions, offline sessions. So I run Hyderabad chapter. So Hyderabad chapter means Hyderabad region. We have Hyderabad meetings done global every time in the Hyderabad city. Whenever you feel free, that you can come to Hyderabad and you can join the sessions. Okay. And main platforms of the UiPath communities for you, especially students, is Academy. I request everybody to go to uipathacademy.com and register yourself for the free certification training. What is the training we need to do after this session and all, Tejasvi will share with you. Everybody, please complete the free certificate, free training. The training will cover you the entire basic from zero to what is UiPath, how need to do the bot build and all. And end of the day, end of the course, you will get the certification as well. Once you have done the certification, each and every student, please share your certification details to Tejasvi. So he is the Tujan developer champion from UiPath community from ACE College. So he will share that details to the community team. So once somebody can pick up the things, and community team, UiPath community team will reach, and you can get some goodies as well. So that is about UiPath Academy. And community is UiPath community, www.community.uipath.com/Hyderabad. If you put, you will join to the Hyderabad. And what is forum? Forum is where a platform like a ChatGPT for UiPath. Okay, whatever you get error, whatever you get doubt in UiPath, you can type there. Definitely already solution is already there in the system itself. So that is called UiPath forum. So please use this Academy, community, and forum. These three links we will share. Everybody please join that. Okay, Academy, forum, and community. So these are the main things. Okay. And if you wanted to be part of the Hyderabad chapter, please join the Hyderabad chapter. This also he will share. You just join, however how you joined yesterday, like that. So any local events, if you are free whenever you get time, so you will be directly joining the local events. So these are some of the good events we have done in person, where even Tejasvi and ACE College team, Varun and other ex-ACE core members are usually used to join the workshops, online workshops, offline workshops as well. So which is everything is free. UiPath community means it is free only. Okay. So that's about the UiPath community. And next. So basically, that's about the UiPath community, and how you wanted to do the core training and all. I mean, which the course and all, he will definitely suggest you. So this is the Hyderabad page, where you will able to see the next upcoming events, and wherever you feel that okay, this is the event we are going to do, this is the event we are going to do, that you will try to understand. Okay. So there is I think I see there are a lot more. There is lot more women people, women team in the room, right? For them especially, there is a special event which we are doing especially for women on 29th August in Hyderabad. I will show you what it is. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, I stopped my screen again. I will share. Just give me 1 second. Whoever people in the room and the college or anybody wanted to join the women session, this is especially for women. We are doing in-person event. Hope my screen is visible now. By the women and for the women, I will share this also with you all people. Okay, I'm sharing you whether we can type this message. Yeah, I think I can type. Every woman, whoever available in the classroom, so please register for this event and try to be there for this event. This is an in-person event where we are doing on August 29th, that is Saturday, 10 a.m. and it's near in Kondapur in Hyderabad. So speakers are women's only, Bhavani, Divya, Barnali, and mentors. There are many mentors. There are again UiPath people are also coming, and there are a lot of goodies is also there. So where we are talking about agentic automation, where we are talking about RPA, where we are talking about how to be a career in UiPath or career in RPA, and how to be a developer for especially women. So this session is only for women. Only women are allowed. So if you are in part of Hyderabad city and you are able to have some off on that day, please try to join this session. This is very useful session. Okay, I have shared the link. Again, I will share this link with you people on your groups. Okay. Yeah, I know definitely. I know there is definitely a lot of questions, lot of things you might have, but this is an intro sessions. If you engage yourself more and if you communicate more to your student champions, hey, we have done this, we have done that kind of sessions, and we are able to do much more sessions, means definitely please reach out to Tejasvi so that we can create more and more sessions. Even I can get some of the speakers to your college as well. Okay. So you need to give me back that you need to complete the certification first. Right now, after this, my call, you please create a student bot, which Tejasvi is explaining you to you all people there, and try to create a basic bot and keep these bots ready. And my small request for everybody is like, for example, I will show one more thing. So today you have learned something, right? So whatever you learn from this session and whatever you feel that, hey, I have done this session and I've been part of this session, so go to LinkedIn, create LinkedIn, use LinkedIn so that your reach will be good. Okay. For example, this is hope you are able to see my screen again, right? So Bhavani madam posted this about this session. She is speaking about that, and she mentioned about Durga Prasad sir, Murli sir, Vijay Kumar sir, everybody. And this is the poster that Tejasvi and team has been created. So once you, after this session, go there and you can just home write a post. You can simply write, hey, today, hey all, today I have attended. Like this, you see in simple words, it will chat GPT also, it will give and post it. So that what it will give is your learning also will be enhanced, and your spirit will be enhanced to the global level people. So that, okay, new audience, okay, yes, college means this many people are there. We need to be doing much more sessions like that. So people will be doing that. Okay. So I request everybody to be available in the session and do the bot for now. Next, you have almost 40 more minutes left with you. So I request everybody to give your things to Tejasvi bot and create that bot and complete your trainings in the academy. And then we can continue the next topics whenever you guys have completely free and your management is asked to give the session. Okay. So yeah, that's all from my side. If you have anything more realistic training or required, definitely we'll try to implement in the next session. Okay. Right now, after this session, please immediately go and complete your bot, and then after leaving to home, complete your training, and then we'll see about the next one. Okay. Yeah. Thank you all. Tejasvi.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. I request one thing is create a bot now. Second thing, please post about the session in your LinkedIn. Third thing, please complete your trainings in UiPath Academy, which you will get certification as well. Fourth is all women's whoever available in the Hyderabad, please join the Hyderabad event on 29. Men's, we have some more event coming in September. We will all join there. Okay. Yeah. Tejas, you hope you have taken this classroom pictures and
Yes, sir.
okay. You are in class or you are somewhere?
Yeah, we're in classroom, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not able to see you, so okay, fine. Acha, you are here. Huh? Fine. Nice. Okay, nice. I think this is a good session. I hope everybody got some, at least some basic ideas what to do, how to do, and all. Right. So continue the things, and we'll meet in the next meetup, maybe in your college. Okay. Yeah. Even we have done your hackathon also in your college last year. Let's do that this year also, and let's continue. Thank you all. Okay. Tejasvi, please continue. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for attending.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.